closer look at Nick Mullins.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, just two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Their debuts as 49ers starters didn't go quite as well as Nick Mullins did. That is unbelievable company and an unbelievable full screen.
We've got more love for the Niners ahead. But let's talk. No, you know what? Let's just dig in. The question for me is, are you more impressed with what the Niners pulled off yesterday, given all the injuries and the tumult and the fact that they are a one-win team? Are you more stressed out for the Raiders?
I'm not thinking about the Raiders right now.
No.
Just like after D'Angelo Hall left them, I'm not thinking about the Raiders. Listen, I'm focused on the 49ers, and I can show appreciation to Kyle Shanahan and what they did going in and game plan this offense around Nick Mullins. The wide receivers, tight ends, running backs in that offensive line stepping up for a young quarterback making his debut. But, you know, we're talking about...
I wasn't even touched.
Yeah, we're talking about this young guy, and you can see him talking with the legends up there in the postgame, and they're saying this debut, as if the young man has never played football before. Let's not let it be lost on us that this guy is the leading passer in yards and touchdowns at Southern Miss. A pretty big deal where Brett Favre went to school and dominated. So this was familiar territory. Of course, bright lights, big stages, the NFL. But some guys were built for this. Some guys were meant for this. There's some quarterbacks that we praise and say, this guy's going to be the next great, and their numbers wouldn't even touch Nick Mullins. Josh Allen, who we love, right? Comes out of a small school, struggled. His passer rating was terrible. His efficiency was terrible, and we crown this guy the next great, and he's with the Bills, and hopefully he has a great career. A guy like this, who gets passed on, who goes plays practice squad, who is a third stringer, sits back, is probably waiting and saying, you know what? I dominated in college. Like, as soon as they give me an opportunity, I'm going to take advantage. So shout out to Nick Mullins. I know it's going to sound like a charity case for a while, but let me be the football player and say, bro, you knew this was coming, and you took advantage because you did this before. When you were young, when you were in high school, when you were in college, and you can continue this in the league. So don't let being a backup kind of deter your path, man. You're on the path for greatness.
Good case study on our show right now. You asked, what's your takeaway? And Nate does this amazing soliloquy on life lessons and Nick Mullins. I just want to tear the Raiders apart. You know, I'm the glass half full here. You can't lose 34-3 on national television to Nick Mullins if you're a real NFL franchise. You can't. I don't care if you're rebuilding. I don't care if you're looking at draft picks. You can't lose when you've got Derek Carr making $125 million on your side, and you've got all of these veteran players on your team. You can't lose that way. And Gruden went on with Howie Long before the game, and I almost thought it was more dramatic than the game itself. He said, I've got players across the league who are texting me and coming up to me saying, I want to be, and he did the voice, a Raider, did the whole thing. A, that's tampering. You can't talk to someone who's under another team's contract. And B, are these real people? Are these figments of your imagination? Because Amari Cooper is a good veteran player who I think is a building block for a team. You traded him away. I think Khalil Mack...
That's a strange comment.
Yeah, Khalil Mack is one of the better players in the NFL, and anyone who's ever watched football can tell you that. You traded him away, and I get it. 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years, $70 million in cap space. It could be all great.
But you're getting smacked right now.
You're getting smacked right now. And so at what point do you have pride, and what point as a team and in a franchise do you say, it's not fair to our fans in the moment because Derek Carr's not Nick Mullins. Derek Carr's not Josh Allen. Derek Carr is supposed to be a veteran quarterback contending for MVPs. And right now, that's the worst team in football. The worst team in football that I've seen all season.
The Raiders. How about that?
The Raiders, who I thought were going to contend for the AFC West title this year.
Nah, I'm with you, Peter, because I feel like the way the 49ers play, I almost expected a team to come out and play and fight because I don't know how to quit.
Right.
But when I see Oakland, it's so scary to be a part of that organization and see the way they played, even with all the draft picks moving forward. If this team doesn't somehow get a fire lit under their butts and come out and play harder than they played last night, then it doesn't matter who you bring in there.
That's a good point.
All the young guys are just gonna continue to follow the guys who are out there playing. And when you get rid of a guy like Khalil Mack, who work at ethic, from what I've heard, is off the charts.
Right.
And he's a guy that young guys will follow. Not only are you getting rid of a great player, but you're getting rid of one of your leaders in that locker room. And for a young guy who's played his butt off and made a lot of plays, as a new guy to the Raiders, I mean, what do I have to do to get paid if Khalil Mack doesn't get paid? And so I just think it sends a bad message. And I don't know if this team really has what it takes to, to grow. Even though you have a lot of draft picks, you still have to have some veterans to coach those guys.
But for all of those reasons that you and Peter are laying out is why I am so impressed with the 49ers, because they too have dealt with injuries. They're without their quarterback. They don't have Jimmy G. They don't have Jerick McKinnon, who, as we understand it, was going to be the focal point of what they were going to do on offense this year. They're a one-win team. Do you know what it would take for me, and I never played the game, and I'll leave it to you guys, to have what it takes to go out there and give it my all and keep fighting? The Raiders clearly did not have that in them in any of the 4 quarters last night or really this season.
Right.
To go out there and be like, you know what, we're going to give it all we have, even though it might not mean anything. We're going to go and fight for our team, for our coach, for each other, for the history of what this franchise means in the landscape of the NFL. That is huge to me because it's something that I don't think a lot of people do at that point when you have one win by the end of the midseason.
Yeah, and to D'Angelo's point, if these guys play like this and they get the draft picks in a couple of years, it doesn't matter if you get draft picks if they're just going to follow the leaders of this organization.
All right, let's turn our attention, though, now to a huge AFC North matchup on Sunday. It is the Steelers and the Ravens, a rivalry that never needs any extra juice. I don't think so, but that didn't really stop Baltimore defensive coordinator Wink Martindale from commenting on the Steelers and Le'Veon Bell just yesterday. Take a listen to this.
I hope he shows up like right before the game, and they want to play him. You know, look, it's like this. I think it's like since 2015. You know, if you look at their stats, there's a lot of stats in different categories that the Steelers are actually better without him. You know, they're better in those categories since 2015 without Le'Veon, so that might be why he's riding a jet ski down in Miami right now. I don't know. But I just, you know, you can't think about what if this, you know, what if Terry Bradshaw wants to come back and Lynn Swan? Oops, sorry.
Easy there, Wink. He might have a point, though. Since 2015, the Steelers are averaging about 4 more points and almost 50 more yards per game sans Bell than they are with him. So here's the question. Are the Steelers actually a better team without Le'Veon Bell? Is this, D'Angelo, a stupid conversation to have on any morning show?
Absolutely. I mean, let's be real. I mean, I can sit here and skew any numbers to really say what I want to say. I can say that the Lakers will be better without LeBron, and I can throw out some stats that say this and that.
Stats right
yeah,
here?
yeah. This is stats me throwing them out that says this and that about, you know, about LeBron James. And so, yes, they might average more points without Le'Veon Bell, but let's be real here. Le'Veon Bell is one of the best football players in the National Football League. Any team is better with him as a part of their team.
Yeah.
Now, does it pose different problems? Yes, because you know who he is. It's going to be more eyes on him trying to stop him. A guy like James Conner, a lot of people are kind of overlooking him, which they probably aren't doing
Third in
now.
the league in rushing.
I know now they're not doing that,
Right.
but you have a chance to overlook a guy like James Conner because you simply don't know much about him. But at some point, a great player like Le'Veon Bell is going to give you more of a chance to win.
I'll say this. The winning percentage is that. The winning percentage without is that. So that's all I look at.
I hear you.
Scoreboard, and they win a lot more, about twice as much more with him than without.
And I say it all the time. Numbers lie. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And I can respect the numbers that reflect that the team is better without Le'Veon, but as a receiver, the balance is better when Le'Veon is on the field. And to D'Angelo's point, if you're a defensive coordinator facing the Steelers, Antonio Brown is going to have better games, Juju Smith-Schuster is going to have better games, the tight ends, even Ben Roethlisberger is going to play better. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. If the numbers are better and the percentage is better, I guess I can say that they're a better team, offensive team with James Conner.
That's absurd. I mean, you're going to add, when he comes back, you're going to be adding an all-pro running back with fresh legs at the midway point. That's your second drive. This team is going to take off. I mean, I can't see how it can't hurt them to add a player of Le'Veon Bell's quality.
Nobody said they're going to hurt the team.
Are they better with or without him? I don't know. I mean, they were really good. They went to the AFC Championship game with him.
There's something to be said about Antonio
They beat the
Brown.
Browns without him.
There's something to be said about Antonio Brown not having to put up these massive numbers for these guys to be in every
takes
game.
the pressure off of everybody else.
But James Conner, he's been better with James.
That's what I'm talking about, because Antonio Brown isn't leading the league in every category like he usually is. He was wearing the weight of the world over his shoulders, but now there's a balance to this offense. It's Juju, it's James, it's Ben, it's AB. There's a certain balance that's better.
I think it's a good
Conner.
2019 conversation because they won't be without Bell. They won't have Bell. But 2018, both of them, watch out.
Back for the 2019 conversation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pencil it in. All right, we'll be back after.